Hi, my name is Alex Samson. I'm a health science major at the University of Hartford, and I just got back from a semester in Kenya, Africa. The most interesting thing about my program is that it was very hands-on. It was more first-hand learning. We didn't do a lot of sitting in the classroom and just learning about things from books and from other people's experience. We were able to go out into the slums and into, very undeveloped areas and get to learn about what they need and what people are doing to try and facilitate those needs. So we got to actually go into clinics and health centers and just like youth groups and get to see what the average person in this area is living day to day and seeing how their lives have bettered. And we had a lot of field excursions. We visited a lot of non-governmental organizations, a lot of clinics, centers that were helping to improve the health and development of Kenya. And it was really interesting to get to see those all firsthand instead of sitting in a classroom and just learning about them. Some of the things we did in the clinics and just other organizations we went to, some of it would be we were lectured and people would tell us about their clinic, they would take us on tours, and a lot of it was also interacting with the people who participated there. For instance, we went to one of the slums in Mathare and got to play with the little kids and see how they were learning to overcome tribalism and interact with different kids and who their parents may have, biased opinions about from when they were younger. But it was great to actually get to interact with the people who these organizations are benefiting. The biggest health concerns in Kenya right now are definitely HIV and AIDS, and it's also not as it's a big health concern these days, it's more getting rid of the stigma of having HIV and AIDS and also getting people to accept it and learn how to get the antiretroviral drugs, which are ARVs, and just how to take care of themselves and teaching them that they can live a full, healthy life and still have the illness. And also things such as malaria. A lot of it has to do with education, teaching them how to use their bed nets, where to buy them cheaply, how to use bug spray, or just overall things on how to be cautious about health and how not to get sick. And also, dysentery is a really big problem there. They have very poor bathroom facilities, so a lot of people just go in the streets or in bags or things like that, and they also are eating those things that are from the streets, so they're getting sick. So a lot of it has to do with education on how to better their health. While abroad, we took Swahili class for 3 weeks, which doesn't seem like a lot of time to learn a language, but we surprisingly were all at least intermediate lows. Walking around, we primarily would use mambo, which is kind of like a hey, like what's up. It's called shang, which is kind of like slang. And the response would be poa, which is cool. And that's basically, you would think you'd use it mainly for children, like mambo, poa, but you could use it with adults. That's also sasa poa. So it's just a funny way to interact with people. And then also just the limited vocabulary I had. Going places, I would have to always ask, like, oh, you know the streets? What do we say? Unajua, and then the name of the place. And then they think you speak Swahili, so they start just rattling off in Swahili, and then you're like, And it was interesting to see how differently they would treat you with the limited Swahili I know. Like, I would not say I fluently speak it, but I definitely can get by because they also know English, which helps a lot. But immediately, they'll see you and they think you're a tourist or you just have money, you're not really there for, learning about their country. And the second you start speaking even like one word of Swahili, they think, you know Swahili? Wow, that's amazing, you know so much. They just found it so amazing that we wanted to learn about their culture. And then we tell them we were students, and that's how you started making friendships with just strangers, and it was great. It really was, it was a great experience. While in Kenya, I didn't live in a dorm. I actually stayed with a homestay, and we were based out of Nairobi. I had a mom and a dad, a house help who's only a year younger than me, and then 3 sisters and a brother. And they were amazing. They were the best family I could have asked for. They really helped me adjust and acclimate to Nairobi life because it's a city. We lived in a house, we had property, we had 1 dog when I got there and 3 by the time we left. They were just random guard dogs that stayed on our compound. I also lived with 2 other homestay families while I was there. I lived on the coast in Shirazi village with a Muslim home family. And we lived in a very big stone and mud and stick hut but it was very, very nice. And they were very accepting of everybody's different views and beliefs, and they just made me feel comfortable and at home. They told me, this is your home, you know, you do what you would do in America here, like, this is your home as well as ours. And the only difficult part was I didn't get to see my dad there as much, because he worked about 2 hours north and would stay there for the weekdays, so he would come home only on the weekends, and I was only there for 2 weeks, so I only got to see him for 4 days. And my mom didn't speak any English, so that made it a little difficult, so I mostly had to communicate through my 13-year-old sister. And then my last homestay family was a Maasai tribe family. I stayed with them while doing research on Maasai male circumcision groups, and that was definitely an interesting experience. It was much different than the other 2 homestays I lived in. We lived in a tin shack, you know, very far from other people. I shared a room with 2 to 3 children below the age of 10. In Kenya, there was a lot more time to enjoy simple pleasures because they call African time, and we're on Mzungu time, which is a white non-African. And Mzungu time is, you're supposed to be there at 8, you're there at 7:45. If it's African time, you're supposed to be there at 8, you come at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and it's no big deal, it's normal. So for us, we were able just to enjoy simple times just walking. I never really rushed. Whenever I was walking too fast, my sister would say, like, you're walking at Mzungu pace. So I'd have to slow down and, you know, start moving. I did things a lot slower there, and it just gave me more time to really take in my surroundings and enjoy where I was in each different location I went, because I traveled all through Kenya and Uganda. So I think we are rushed, and we kind of lose sight of what we're doing, where we're going. You don't really notice the people around you. We're too focused on technology. And being there and having, you know, a little Samsung phone from the 90s, it really got me back to learning about myself and the things that I like to do and just enjoying time. And I just really enjoyed, you know, walking around and getting to meet strangers and just talking to random people. And they're interested in us as much as we're interested in them. So I think that would be my simple pleasure, is meeting all the locals. I think that my experience abroad in Kenya kind of changed my mindset. I don't really think the way I used to before leaving. I'm much more conservative in, I would say, like, my wastefulness. I try not to be in the shower too long. I try to only take certain portions of food that I need. I don't really overcook. I think it's just like my own comfort. I'm okay being alone. I don't always need friends around me. I think I really learned to become self-reliant, independent. And another way it's changed me is I kind of don't judge people as much as I would being just in America. I understand people's circumstances, the things they've been through, the hardships, and what could have led them to where they are in their life now. So it makes me just want to help people more than I already have wanted to. Some skills that I acquired abroad would definitely be my independence. I'm definitely much more self-reliant again. Swahili for sure. I keep accidentally going to speak Swahili to my friends and just say, like, little words here and there. As well as just my, I would say, navigation senses as well. Not having my iPhone to look at what roads I'm on or where I'm going. I kind of just learned to just navigate by what I see, what's around, and that made my trip a lot easier. What I appreciate the most about my international experience is getting to see firsthand that not everyone has it as good as we do here. I think we take for granted a lot about the things we have here, the luxuries we have. Everyone wants their iPhones, a car, a fast internet. And living there, I didn't have basic necessities like running water or toilet. So it made me much more grateful for all the little things I have in my life in America. And it's just opened my mind a lot more. Something that I always want to remember from my trip in Kenya would be the people that I met. Most of the friends that I made are too poor to afford internet or even really their cell phones. So being back in America, I'm never going to have the opportunity to talk to them on Facebook, email them, call them. So that was one of my most difficult things leaving. But it's nice to know that if I ever did return, I know where to find them. I saved my SIM card from my phone. I can always call them if they have that same number. And it's just nice to know that I could go back and be accepted by those people, so I never want to forget them. For any university of students who want to study abroad, I would say do it. It's going to be the best experience of your life. You're going to regret not doing it more than you would actually doing it. You just need that first push. When applying, it's definitely overwhelming. The applications do seem really confusing. A lot of it may be online or just paperwork. And you need to realize that the study abroad office is there. They've been through this time and time and time and time again. They know how to help you, and they probably know your program specifically very well. And for me, I relied a lot on my advisor and the study abroad department advisors. So they really helped me get everything in on time. It's a process, but you just do it, and it's worth it.